Hello and welcome back to the podcast. This week is, funny enough, a week late and $1 short. I'm so sorry about that. This week is actually not the podcast I promised 2 weeks ago, but rather just an update on why I haven't been posting the way I should have been, why I haven't been sticking to my schedules and things. And honestly, the quality is not what I wanted, but it's what happened. So I have tried to not ramble too much, because this, very much like 2 weeks ago's episode, is going to be like raw and unedited. I'm basically talking, recording, uploading with just my intros and my outros, and off we go. It's 9 p.m. Sunday night and I just can't. I apologize in advance. This may be a bit triggering, so I don't even know. Just be warned. It's not going to be a difficult or heavy talk. It's just I am not feeling well. Mental health is something I struggle with, and not for anything. It's basically just depression, and I've recently developed anxiety about certain things. That isn't too hectic, but the depression's always been there, and it's something I've been working on for literally years. And this past 2 weeks have just been really hard. Maybe even 3 weeks. Like, that's just how far back I can even remember, because days are starting to blur, and when you fall into that trap of days blurring and having to like check dates and times of like, is it actually the time? Is it actually this day of the week? Is it like, oh my word, it's already the 7th month of the year? Like, when things blur together, you know you're in a bad space when you aren't excited that time is moving quickly. Like, you're not happy it's going that fast, and I've been struggling a bit. So I haven't been editing like I used to, uploading like I used to, recording like I used to. And before the whole hospital saga, I actually spent a half an hour every night editing, because I would record 2 podcasts and then spend my week editing them in 30-minute increments. So I would be like ahead of the game, and then everything just fell to the wayside with the hospital, and I just haven't gotten back into my rhythm, and I don't want to get back into that old rhythm, because I need to try something new. When I get into these kinds of things, I feel I just need a change. So it's not physically sick. We are all okay. There was a bit of a flu last week, but for the most part everyone's over it. So it's not physical, it's more of a mental thing, and people, not to take it lightly, but it affects everyone in a different way. So I've been feeling depressed, I haven't been motivated, I haven't been positive, I've just been a sad sack of ugh. That's the only way I can think to describe it. And a lot of it is probably due to a lot of the stress we as a family are under. My sister recently, who's in grade 11, went back to school, and with this COVID, it's not a joke. She has a schedule of when she needs to go in certain days a week. They alternate 3 days on this week and then 2 days next week. She actually went in 3 last week because she was writing a test, and then she's going in 3 this coming week. So it's a lot of scheduling and things, and she has to be there extra early so they can scan and check all the students coming in and make sure they, the right temperature, they have all the utensils and sterilizing things. And it's a lot of pressure for school, when school itself is a lot of pressure. It's stressful. And then work has been hectic, not only for myself but for my brother, who's working from home as well. My mom is stressing because we all are stressing, and then my father's a hazard on his own because he owns his own company and works for it as a mechanic, but he's constantly seeing clients, and different clients, you don't know where they come from. So he obviously has his sanitizers and screening test thing, but there's only so much you can do. So that's also just a difficult thing to be stressing about, and that just might have just contributed quite a bit. So it's just a whole lot of factors that have affected me into feeling this way, and I'm not happy with it. On top of that, I've fallen into bad habits, which I am changing and have already changed. A disclaimer I want to put right here is, to anyone with a mental illness or issue of any kind, I am not making light of my situation, and by extension yours or anyone else's. This is just me and how I see it and how I choose to deal with it. what I personally like to do is take stock, see what's happening, and try and change things until I feel this click inside of me that like, okay, I'm back into my place and I'm ready to move forward. And I try to, once again, personally, this is my thing, I try to not live in this depression for too long, especially once I realize like, oh, this is me being in a depression, this is me not being right, this is me not being where I need to be. And once I've realized that, I try to not stay in that state of depression for too long, because if I spiral down, it's a slippery slope and it's so fast, like it'll make your head spin. So I try to not be like, wake up tomorrow and I'm not depressed. Like that obviously doesn't happen. But in the time that we are living in with this COVID situation and access to basic things like healthcare practitioners and therapists and things, yes, there is online ways, but I prefer in-person sessions and such. And having this COVID block that has been really difficult for me. That issue aside, I also feel like I need to figure out what I need to figure out. I need to find out what I need before I can ask for help. Otherwise, I kind of feel like I'm grasping at straws. So I need to figure out what is my main issue and then work on it. I'm not just going to go and be like, oh, this is happening, and then eventually figure out what's causing it. So I like to first pull myself towards myself, as I always say, and then move on from there. I did say I fell into bad habits, which I'm changing, and a change I've already made is my environment. I scrubbed everything down, cleaned it, moved it, organized it. I rearranged my room, organized things on my desk. I've made a lot of physical changes to my environment, especially in terms of preparation. I've made things a lot easier to get to. So, for example, if you want to exercise, have your things ready. Then you don't have the excuse of, oh, but I still need to get this, and then I need to get that, and then I need to prep this. Have it all prepped so that you are one step closer to actually doing it. And for me, cleaning up my physical environment prepares me to clean up my mental environment. You know, like I've just left things scattered and I need to just pick it up, organize it, clean and clear it out. And they say, clear space, clear mind. Organized chaos is still chaos. So the minimalistic approach to a lot of things fascinates me because of the organization and having a home for everything and making sure everything has a specific place has fascinated me, and I think that is something I want to explore, especially for when it comes to things like mental minimalism, where you don't put a whole lot of energy into doing certain things that can be done on autopilot. For example, your breakfast. If you don't have to think about what am I going to make tomorrow for breakfast, what am I going to make today for breakfast, planning your meals, that takes like so much stress out of your week, and small things like that. So I've already physically cleaned. I'm getting ready to do mental cleaning this week, and I'll probably upload something on it later. I've been prepping a mental month podcast series for literal months, but I think this is just another thing to add on. So that will eventually come, maybe October, because I think October is mental health month. I will double check, but I will definitely be making a podcast on it at a later time. With that said, I'm basically going to end it here. For me right now, taking time for myself and me time and getting things figured out for me is vital. Right now, it's the most important thing I need to do for myself, because no one else can do it for me. So I need to take this time and do it. I may skip next week's podcast and upload the following week, or if I get myself together and maybe have an epiphany or something, I'll upload a podcast next week. But no promises on that. Like I said, I may or may not skip next week's podcast and upload the following week, but the podcast will continue, even if it has to be every second week for now while I'm figuring things out. But essentially, it will continue to keep going because it's something I truly enjoy and love, and I'm not going to give it up. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end it. And the song of the week is I Need a Hero, because I need to kind of just save myself right now, and I need to be my own hero. So that's what I'm gonna leave you with. Thanks for listening. Hope I haven't been too much of a bore, and I promise I will get back on my game and give you better quality podcasts. So just give me some time. With that, I'm out. Thank you for listening. Love you. Bye.